We are on our way to an awesome mastermind.
So you've got to guess, how many square feet is this crazy mansion? Let's go.
My friends Gene and his wife Brittany, they're putting together this mastermind. This place, this mansion we're going to, want you to definitely come along. Really, really awesome. For those of you who don't know me, this is Gary Coxe. I'm a business and life strategist. I'm actually going to take Tequila, and Winnie's back there with me. They love to ride in the car. And these are really good friends, and they love to have the birds over. And you know, what's interesting about, especially if you're an entrepreneur, and if you've never done masterminds, if you have, no one needs to tell you how powerful they can be and how they can change your life. I think the greatest thing about it, several things. Number one is you are leaving your normal routine to go somewhere. My particular masterminds are in the Bahamas at Sandals Resorts, and this one's going to be in Orlando. But it gets you to disengage from your normal routine and gets you focusing on things. And of course, you have people that make the excuse, well, I don't have the time, I can't afford to. You can't afford not to. It's that important. And typically what I find when people do these masterminds is that they end up doing so much better, especially if they're in sales or entrepreneurs, because they took the time off to learn more skills. We all don't know it all. There's so many things out there for us to learn. So that's what I love about the mastermind. And for me personally, to be very open with you, if you're not familiar, I was unfortunately born and raised in a cult. And in that cult, you are highly discouraged to go out and meet other people other than for the motive of converting them. And that's pretty much it. So outside of the cult, I had very few what I would consider, very close friends. So even I've been out for quite a while, to this day, it's even challenging. I have to really make it intentional to go out and do something like this, because the people that I will be hanging around with, they don't have the black and white beliefs that I was so programmed to buy into and believe all my life. And thank goodness I don't have to live that way anymore. So come hang with me. We'll be pulling up here in a little bit. It's a little bit of a drive. And I'll show you this place. It's absolutely cool. Meet some of the people, and we'll have some fun. Let's do this.
All right, let's check it out. Tequila is with me here, and Winnie has found a friend.
Winnie, what are you doing? Huh? Always into something, huh, Winnie?
Bird.
Always into something. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, 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 huge. So I just spent some time in here doing an awesome session with everybody. There's Brittany back there. There's Winnie. Winnie found a friend. Look at this place. We'll go upstairs. Let's go upstairs. Come on, check it out. Here we go. Look at the game room. What's up, gang?
What's up? What's up, gang?
Look at that. Oh my. Oh, Tequila. Are you afraid of that? Oh my. Did you see that? Did that scare you? Aww. Did that scare you? I know. I don't want to. We can turn a switch on. Oh, she's too scared of it. It's okay, baby. All right. We won't scare you anymore. All right.
You the best player here? No, not even close.
What's up, trainer? Hey, sir. Good to see you, man.
This guy's the best. This guy's the pro, man.
Check it all out. Oh, we got more in here. Oh, man. Check it out. Crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, very nice.
So cool.
Yeah, it is.
Check it out. What are you thinking? That's pretty cool, huh, Tequila? Right, I know. You're not used to all this noise. No, you're not. No, you're not.
I was like, every shot.
Check this out. Oh, man. We got the little Cinderella palace in here.
I get lucky. My shots.
All righty. So, that's part of the tour. There's outside out there. We'll go out there in just a second. Winnie's drinking. Oops, oh no. Okay, we're going outside now. Check this out. All right. Check it out. Very nice. Yeah. How cool, huh? This place is big. So that is the mansion for the Mastermind. Pretty cool.
Fortunate to have the time to come out. So thanks you, brother. I appreciate you. I love you.
Glad to be back. Everybody having a good weekend or week or whatever? Yeah?
Yeah.
Got a lot to spew out, doesn't it? It's a lot. All I can tell you is apply it, apply it, apply it. That's the bottom line. So I guess I'll start off with how committed are you without asking you to raise your hand, because everybody's going to want to put their hand up. If I said to you, how committed are you to your success, everybody would say they're pretty committed. The next thing I'd ask you is, are you really here to make a quantum leap? Most people would also agree to that. Wouldn't you agree to that, right? Yeah. The thing is, what do you know of a quantum leap? What is actually a quantum leap? A quantum leap is the ability to move when you're not ready. How many of you moved to get here to come to this when you really thought you weren't ready for whatever reason? Show of hands, be honest, right? How many of you feel now that it was a pretty smart move? Okay? So you need to get that in your head and loop it in such a way that you get a pattern to where the next time something comes up tomorrow, the next day, next month, next year, where you feel, wait a minute, this could be a quantum leap. What's a quantum leap? Move when I'm not ready. How do you know when you feel you're not ready? What do we start doing? We start making what? Excuses. That's the first sign right there that you're setting yourself up for a quantum leap and ready to pull out. And you could have made every excuse not to be here, and you're here because you moved when you're not ready. And I know I'm at wherever I'm at, where that is because I made crazy amount of quantum leaps, moving when I wasn't ready. And to do that, you also have to learn to play games with your mind instead of your mind playing games with you, right? Because your mind's going to play games with you. You're going to come up with all the excuses why you shouldn't do this, and I don't have the time, or this and that. But when you remember, once you've made that quantum leap, just make sure you understand the benefits from making that quantum leap, so you'll want to do it again and again and again. I think I should have you record this. I'm making a video.
I'm recording right now. I'm recording right now.
You're recording?
I'm recording right now.
Eardrop that for me.
I got you.
You can be in our face if you want.
Yeah, all right, cool. Good deal.
You want me to get a mic? I got a wireless mic for you.
No, I'm good. I mean, I have one too.
Is this winning or tequila?
Waiting.
The tequila, right? There's a margarita.
Tequila.
Yeah, as soon
In
as
answer to your question, that's the one that talks. This one whistles. This one just talks up a storm. Probably, I don't know, maybe 30 words or something like that.
That's his profile, guys. If you want to jump on Facebook real quick and send him a follow. Wow, it looks.
Yeah, Facebook and IG.
About to explode.
Huh?
Your phone's about to explode.
I appreciate that. Instagram, you can go there. I'm on. I mean, I have a team as well, but I'm on social media a lot, so I'll try to connect with you as well too.
You've been doing a lot of marketing and a lot of shit in the last 6 months on social media.
Yeah,
so.
I've decided to get out of retirement or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, we're gonna blow up
Now,
here.
also remember, if you don't know how social media works, there's something called affinity with social media, and if you are not liking or commenting on people's stuff, they just don't show it to you very much. So if you want to see more of his stuff, when you see it come up, hit the like or the heart button, shoot him a comment or something like that. That's going to populate it to more people on Facebook for him, but it's also going to increase your affinity with him, which is your closeness, your social closeness, and they will show you more of his stuff. Okay? You tell him.
I'm sorry. That
Oh,
was
you're good, bro. Any questions you might have while I'm here? I'm gonna be here, for dinner and all that stuff.
That's your page, Gary Coxe, on Instagram with the parrot on the rug that you posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
COXE.
Yes.
Does the parrot do tricks?
This one's very smart. I mean, they're both very
It'll
smart.
shit on you if you want.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. But this one's a rescue. So her owner was murdered actually, and she's been in the cage for years. So I'm trying to give her a good life. But this guy's a ham.
And if you probably haven't met many people that have been through the shit that this guy has been through. I mean, from many deaths. Yeah, cults. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, and I share this with you not to get your sympathy by any stretch of the imagination, but to help you see that there are people out there who can relate to some of your pains in life. They may be different pains, but it's still pain. I was very blessed when I was younger. I started my second business at 15. Shortly after that, I was making $100,000 a year. Wife and I, we got married. Then we have a baby. Then she tells me it wasn't mine. And for most men, that would chop your ego up pretty good. Then it gets worse than that to find out she's been cheating on me with one of my employees that happens to be 15 years of age. There's no ego left after that. And then in the time frame of all this, my grandfather and stepfather died of cancer. My uncle was killed in a plane crash. I got a phone call from my mother to let me know my father had just been shot point blank in his chest, drowned in his own blood. And all this by the time I was 21. And then what's even worse than that is I was born and raised in a cult. And I left that when I was in my 40s. So when you leave, you are programmed, or everybody in it, when you leave, they're programmed to shun you for life, treat you as if you're dead. And they put me in a massive tailspin, $350,000 in debt.
All by yourself in your mid-40s.
All by myself. I mean, everything you think is your whole belief system shot, gone, everything. So you start from scratch, and all this stuff has enabled me to come up with the processes and strategies to help people make really fast change. And that's, how I got Dr. Phil's attention for a show, The Doctors. I take people who've been in major trauma and what they have been in therapy for 10 or 20 years. I claim that I can do in one session what therapists or consultants can't do or don't do in a year. And I don't say that arrogantly, I say that out of proof. So I'm going to share that with you for a reason about my story. I will guarantee you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, some of the challenges that you have in your business and in your sales will stem from the trauma that you've experienced in your past, period, end of story. If you become wise, you will understand and you will be able to identify that, wait a minute, the reason I responded this way or I treat this person this way is because, holy crap, this happened to me when I was younger. And because of that, I hire fast, or I fire fast, or I'm afraid to ask for the sale. All these things, if you can figure out, you can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So if you can acknowledge that, you know what? I can take your stories right now. If somebody were to come up to me and say, look, here's my story. I got divorced of this, and that I was in drugs, I was in prison, I had a bad marriage.
That's my story.
There you go, okay? So I can tell you, right, that you have, and everybody does, right? When you go through something, you're going to have rippling effects. Many of them, of course, if it's negative trauma, you're going to have negative rippling effects. Now, sometimes you'll have positive rippling effects. Maybe you grew up very poor and you say, you know what, frig that. I'm not living that way. I'm not going to put my family through that. I'm going to hustle and I'm going to move and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make things happen. So just understand your behaviors, the ones that are slowing you down, because we all get blocks, right? It's just part of being human. But if you can get to the point where you can identify, holy crap, the reason I'm not pushing through to that next level is because of this, and then learn to figure out how to rechange or reprogram or rewire that, your game changes totally. So be really cognizant of that. It gives you emotional freedom, and when you have emotional freedom, man, you can play the game at an incredibly high level.
But don't you need help
What
to do that?
Let me one at a time. But I get you. Say,
Absolutely. What the challenge is
Like
that.
my story is pretty much I was a heroin addict, I was homeless,
Wow.
and I changed my life around, but through recovery,
Yeah.
shit like that, and so like, how do I figure out what what's holding me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That's a great question. The answer to that is, for starters, we often are the picture in the frame. And when you're the picture in the frame, you have a hard time seeing things as they really are. A great example of that is Mattel Toys. When Mattel Toys creates a new toy, they have a focus group. Who do you think's in the focus group? Kids, yeah, not adults. Why? Because they forgot what it's like to put themselves in the mind of a 5-year-old. And many times we can't see ourselves because we are the picture in the frame. And that's why it's important to have a business consultant or a therapist or whatever, somebody who knows their crap to help you identify some of those things. And then more importantly, to give you the strategies for that. But yeah, 100%. I have a group of friends and advisors. I have one particular advisor that was, and also an advisor to my billionaire mentor, and he's a person that I go to. There's sometimes I go to people who are really close to me, and I just want to know what their viewpoint is, especially for me being in the cult. Because sometimes I look at things and I think it's a little jaded, and I'm not sure. So I go to a friend of mine and say, hey, here's what do normal people do? How do normal people look at it?
That's how I feel sometimes, like, how do I deal with that,
Yeah, you have to have people around you that can understand that. Now, I may not have been a heroin addict.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
That and more is available for you inside the Lead Ninja Mastermind.
No, seriously, right? I mean, that's what this all personal growth is about. I personally, in the last year plus, I've spent, nearly $100,000, on getting insights, because in the cult I was in, you only focus on their propaganda. And I'm learning to get out of that propaganda and go look for other things and other viewpoints and other strategies, because there's so many different ways. But like I was saying, I may not have been, and I haven't been, a heroin addict, but I can still be able to identify what some of those patterns are that you've had, and then assist you in figuring out how to break them, and then figure out how to break them faster so we can get to the next level quicker, because there's always a faster way, right? And that's where we work smarter, not faster. If I have a bicycle and you have a helicopter and we're going to go for a race for 5 miles, who's going to get there faster? The person in the helicopter. So we mate 5 miles and I say, let me have your helicopter. Now you have jet and we're going to go 100 miles. Who's going to get there faster? You are. So I'm obsessed with trying to figure out what's the smarter way to get to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, look him up on YouTube too, but follow him on social, and just, people before they come to see me, they typically are watching me in the background for 6, 12, 18, 24 months, right? There may be a time and a place where you will need some help from Gary. I will tell you, he is not cheap, but he's worth it. Just so you know, some of the things he's done with me, he'll actually take some of my clients and he'll throw them on his jet. We'll fly down to the Bahamas, land in the Bahamas, like first class service, way above first class, right? This company's called Beyond First Class.
Way above.
He has 2 or 3 Rolls Royces waiting for us there with police escorts that escort us with the shit.
Down the traffic.
They shut down traffic. They shut down roads for us. Take us straight over to Sandals.
At 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And they've got this like gazebo on this long pier, if you will, that goes out into the water, and that's where we sit with our clients for the day, and they just essentially ask us questions. And last time I checked, it was like $50,000 for him to do that for the day. So he's not a small player. So take advantage of the time.
Look at his life, his past life. I do the same shit.
So, you have a question, sir?
Yeah, have you sat through Gene's class before? Have you attended Gene's class before?
A large part of it, not the full 3 days like you have, but yeah, I've spent many hours in his classes all over the country when we've been together.
Out of the time that you've spent in Gene's class, what is at least one thing that you've taken and applied to your own life?
Well, I can't say anything specifically from a sales standpoint, because I'm not in that, I'm not in your industry. But one thing that I've been able to observe is that he really knows his stuff. And when an objection is thrown at him, he has a response. And that's how good you have to get. He's very polished. And if you're serious about your success, you have to be that good. It's just like I'm a professional speaker. I'd give you a great example of this along with that. I was watching an interview about Kevin Hart. This guy, I can't say I'm not a fan of his. I guess I am a fan of his. I don't know. I've never watched a movie or anything. I'm not a big movie person. But let me tell you how good he is. And I'll tell you why he is so good. When he goes out on stage to do his comedy routine, he has 2 people backstage watching every move he makes. And then when they're done, the next day or whenever, they all get together and they say, you know what? I think that joke should have been over here, not over here. And if we put this one over here, I bet you we can get them to laugh longer. This man has been doing jokes and comedy for 30 years. And he still has people doing that with him. I've been speaking for 30 years. I'm getting back on the road again. I've been off for about 5 years. And take a guess what I do virtually every day when I start speaking. I watch every single video that I go on stage, and I watch every single move, every mannerism, every way I speak, how I breathe, how fast I go, how slow I go. That is how good you want to be. You want to take, if this is a job for you, maybe you're going to move on to something else. I don't know. But if you're here, be the very best at it. So you get conditioned and programmed to be the very best at everything else that you do, no matter what that's going to be, and whatever doors open to you a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever. But this guy doesn't play right. He's got it down. And you want to be that good.
Thank you for the answer.
You know that.
Gary, one time, can you give me all your social medias?
Yeah, it's GaryCoxe.com, C-O-X-E with the E at the end. C-O-X-E, GaryCoxe.com on YouTube and everything.
Lucas?
So I'm like blown away by you. It's only been like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? And like, I was just wondering, like, what's like your educational background and like how did you become such a great speaker? Because I'm a cynic. I don't like Grant Cardone and all them folks.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
I'm fucking blown away by you in like 10 minutes.
No, I appreciate that. My background, so here's my education. And you're okay with time on this? I mean, I want to.
No, we're good.
I mean, you pay me with 50 grand, so I may as well take it. Now. I take care of my buddy. All right, so.
What cult were you in?
He already answered that question.
So when I was
already answered that.
when I was a junior in school, we have a program, and they still have it today in school, where you go to school part-time and you work part-time. It's called a work experience program. And I remember in my junior year, this is when I started getting into the jewelry business. That was the second business that I got into. And I was learning how to repair jewelry and sell jewelry. So I started selling jewelry to the girls in school. And I remember one day reaching into my pocket and feeling all this money I had. And I'm starting to feel uncomfortable because I wanted to count it, but I didn't want to count it in front of everybody. So I'll never forget this. I walked into the high school bathroom. I'll remember the bathroom stall was an ugly, dark blue. I go in there, close it, stand on top of the toilet, hunch down so nobody would see me. I pull my money out, and this is decades ago. I had $400.
How old were you?
I was 11th grade. So I went to my high school principal, and I said to him, we called him Doc, I said, here's the deal. I know it's not a good thing to want to quit school, but I'm going to quit school. So here's my proposal. My proposal is I've started my jewelry business for my senior year. I do not want to show up in school. I want to do my own business full time. And I know I'm supposed to have a supervisor and they're supposed to grade me, but I'll have no supervisor, so it's going to be me. So I'll have to grade myself. Yes or no? He thought about it for 10 seconds and he said, go for it. That's my education. So for my senior year, I never stepped foot in school's grounds. And I graded myself. I got a 4.0 average. It's not what you know, but who you know. And I ended up with a diploma. I went and picked it up, I think, 2 years after that. And that's how I started my business education. And that's it. Never been to college. In fact, in the cult, you're not supposed to do college and all that stuff, so I never did any of that. And so I was very blessed to get a very, very, very early start in business. And then I expanded to the point of getting to meet a lot of very successful people where I was
Ziegler,
mentored.
Jim Rohn.
Yeah, I
Les Brown.
got to speak with those people, share the stage with them. Then I got other millionaire mentors, billionaire mentors, and it was great exposure.
The owner of Sandals, the owner of Hawaiian Tropics.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
the
was gonna
people
ask Shaggy.
the people that he was able to get around has just been phenomenal. Yeah, Shaggy is one of his friends.
We're getting really close to that. Deal.
Are we?
It's like,
October the 5th.
With me.
Oh shit.
is that our class?
We might have to fly straight out of Tennessee to.
I was gonna
Jamaica.
ask who are some of your mentors, like people you surround yourself with?
He had mentioned one, the owner of Sandals Resorts. He was very, very instrumental in changing my life. When you are fortunate to hang around a billionaire for any length of time, you learn how things operate differently.
Right.
And changed my life. It changed how I operate my day-to-day, everything.
So naturally, we all know more than 5 people. You know, with the deal we were talking about. How do you kind of choose and decipher who you want, you know, to be your 5 people, your group?
I base that on my values and beliefs.
Knew that was coming.
That's pretty much it, you know.
That's fair.
And now there's a difference between having mentors and a difference between having friends, right? So I also know, like, I'll give you an example. And this is why you want to be really careful about who you listen to on social media and who's training you.
Yeah.
So I heard something just recently on some social media. Maybe I was in a group and said, "Oh, you know, I was on a webinar last night." The guy said, "Look, I am not going to learn from anybody who makes less than me." That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Let me tell you why. How many of you would take advice from Warren Buffett? I would. But I will not listen to everything that Warren Buffett would tell me. You know why? Warren Buffett has had a mistress for years. He ended up marrying her. So what does that mean? Well, that's not in my values and beliefs. That also means the people that you see, not all of them, right? Some of the people that you see that are doing what they are wanting you to see, a lot of them, these people, they're drug addicts. They beat up they're so abusive to their wives and their kids, but we don't see that stuff. But we think because they're more successful. Let me give you an example. If I don't have a family, right? I'm not married. If I work 100 hours a week and I have the exact same skills that you have, and you work 40 hours a week because you choose to, and you choose to take the extra hours that I would work to be with your family, who's going to make more money?
You.
Probably I'm going to make more money. Does that make me smarter? No, that just makes my lifestyle different than yours, and you're comparing me to you, and I can work 24/7 and justify it because I don't have any kids.
And you have
Now,
different values and beliefs.
and not to mention now that somebody else may work the same amount of time that I may work, and they're married, and they'll tell you their wife and their family is important to them, and they're their number one thing, but they're never around their family and their kids. You figure it out. Yeah. So that is why it's important. You got to have what I call UCS. You got to use common sense. And what that means is when you take advice from somebody, number one, does it work for you? Does it fit within your values and beliefs? Use common sense. See, the human tendency.
Where do you get your values and beliefs?
Let me finish this. The human tendency that we have as humans is we automatically put somebody in our mind in a higher position than perhaps they deserve. Because they have books like myself, or they're on TV, or whatever the status is. That doesn't make anybody any smarter. It just makes them, in your mind, be a celebrity, and we have this conditioning in our society, which I take advantage of, and you should too, that if somebody's a celebrity, you're going to listen to them, right? But then you get some people that abuse that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So essentially, if we would be boiling it down to, I bring people into my life to speak into my life that have similar beliefs and values
Right.
as me.
Right. And I remember one of my millionaire mentors, he gave me advice. And that's why I like to have advisors. And that's why sometimes I serve as an advisor to people. Meaning, I will give you advice. It doesn't mean you should take it. A president has advisors. What do? They advise him. They don't tell him. They advise him. And then he has, well, this one doesn't walk and talk well. But most of them, I'm just kidding. But I'm not a political person. But it's that president's choice to then decide from this advisor and this advisor and this advisor, what's the decision I should make. Don't be so naive that when somebody gives you advice that you should listen to everything they say. You got to be smart enough to say, you know what? That just freaking makes sense. I'm doing it. That one doesn't really work for me. So when I go to people, depending on how they're hiring me, I'll find out, okay, now I will tell you though, if the decision that I'm advising you to do, you don't do, if I feel it's stupid that you don't do it, I'll tell you I think that's a stupid move, but you got to do what's good for you. But I'm not going to knock you for it. But I will tell you it's stupid if it is. Well, they come from how I was raised. I mean, there were some good things in the cult. You know, and I'm still adjusting my values and beliefs to this day. You know, there's. I mean, I think that's a constant thing, right?
100%.
Part of growth.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel differently about certain subjects than I felt 6
10
months
years
ago.
ago. Oh, sure. You know, when I think about that, I think of Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks' wife was pregnant. And they were getting ready to have a family, and he said, man, he cannot wait because he's going to take his family on tour, and they're going to travel the world together. The moment he saw that baby come out of his wife's womb, boom, he canceled his tour.
Yeah.
His values changed instantly.
And he didn't, it was something like 20 years or something like that before he did another one or something.
Oh, yeah, he quit until his kids went to college. He stayed with them till they were like 18 years old. Then he came back. His value system changed overnight. So you have no idea what can change your value system tomorrow. You could get that close to death tonight for some reason, or next week or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, your whole value system changes again.
Meeting him did that to me.
Right? Seriously, the people you meet in your life changes your value system, man. Yeah. Good stuff.
Appreciate you coming out, man. Let's chill out and have a little bit of fun.
Let's do it.
All right. Give him a round of applause there. Are you guys starting to see the program?
You have your bed.